I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you guys could just keep standing for a minute. It is Military Appreciation Month. I'd like to have a moment of silence for all those that never made it back. Thank you. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mayor McLeachek.
Here.
Council President Conahan.
Here.
Councilman Carnes. Councilman DeCino.
Here.
Councilman Doty. Councilman Quinn.
Here.
Councilman Rex.
Here.
Administrator Laplace.
Here.
And Attorney Corsini.
Here. Okay, we're going to switch up the agenda just a little bit tonight. We're going to start with the appointments. Pillars of Middlesex. Edward J. Johnson, Jr. I have to say, I can't think of a better choice. I say that every month, every time we do one of these, but I think, Eddie, I've been doing this for a really, really long time on the school board, and I have to say, in all the time I've been doing this, I've received 2 letters. Yours was one of them, and it was one of the most heartfelt things coming from the other side of the aisle. And sometimes when you're doing this, you get to the point where it's like, why the hell did I ever decide to do this? What am I, out of my mind? You saved me, dude. You brought me back. Thank you. Michael? You're up.
Going to kick it off?
Yep. Come on up, Ed.
Come on, Ed. Okay, our third pillar of Middlesex, Eddie Johnson, my friend. In addition to what I'm going to read, Eddie, a lot of us know this. He's dedicated, I don't know how many hours, but has helped hundreds and hundreds of residents over the years, since 1960, I guess, when you opened your practice, with really free legal service, all pro bono. And I take hundreds, it could be over 1,000 or 2,000, but no. It's something I wanted to add, and it didn't make it into this, but you've helped a lot of people. So, Pillars of Middlesex, Ed Johnson Jr., whereas the governing body of the Borough of Middlesex recognizes that in order for a community to thrive and succeed, they must rely on the service and support of its residents. And whereas the wisdom, history, commitment, and passion that so many of our residents exhibit and extend to their neighbors in the borough make them pillars of our community. And whereas in the spirit that Mayor McLeachek would like to honor and recognize individuals throughout the community who have made exceptional contributions to the borough of Middlesex. And whereas Edward Johnson has been a long-standing resident of Middlesex Borough for the past 88 years. Whereas during this time, he's been an active member of our community in various capacities as a member of the Library Board of Trustees from 1962 to 74, chairman of the Parish Financial Council, and a 20-year-long usher at Our Lady of Mount Virgin, volunteering his time teaching students, taking a citizenship exam, and volunteering his time teaching English as a second language at Middlesex Library, in addition to OOMB. And whereas Edward Johnson has dedicated numerous hours documenting the history of the borough through various mediums, which include publishing the history of Middlesex Borough Library, participating in the committee that wrote 2 different picture history books about the borough, and his current project that will be a complete history of Middlesex coming soon. Whereas Edward Johnson became a lawyer in 1960, after which he opened his law practice in the borough, where he served as the borough attorney for 35 years, the library board attorney for 50 years, and the fire department and the rescue squad legal counsel for 59 years. And whereas throughout his career, he's aided the borough and its residents with many issues, which included running federal interference with numerous entities such as Middlesex County Sewage Authority, the NJDEP, and many others, and he supported the borough in their efforts to get the federal government to build flood walls and dredge streams to alleviate severe flooding issues within the municipality, and aided to get the federal government to remove the toxic soil within the borough at no cost. And whereas Edward Johnson, throughout the years, has demonstrated praiseworthy service and commitment to the borough by integrating himself as an essential part of the community. And now, therefore, I, Jack Middlesex, Mayor of the Borough of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, along with the Middlesex Borough Council, and on behalf of the residents of Middlesex, wish to thank Edward Johnson for all of his dedication, sacrifice, and labor to our community. Thank you, Eddie.
One nice thing about being semi-retired is that I don't have to wear a suit and tie anymore. I want to thank you, Michael, and Mayor, and members of the council for this honor. I'm proud to be following in the footsteps of John and Sheila Furman, who are the first recipients of this award this year. I thank the Mayor and council for recognizing the services of those who have gone before them and who have never received the thanks that they truly deserve. I should note that this award has now been given to two people in my generation. We were not the greatest generation. That honor goes to our parents. But I think that we are perhaps the next greatest generation, and that we have carried on their tradition. I'm also glad to say that there are some people today, and I specifically include Mike Gunningham, who are following in our tradition, and who believe that there is nothing better to do in life than to help your fellow man. People in my generation were taught to love and help their neighbors, to respect their elders, to obey the law, to honor their teachers, and to work hard. We worked hard. I started with a paper route, then did landscaping, and I cut grass for many of my neighbors using a cast iron push lawnmower, which was difficult to push before you even started to cut the grass. I shoveled snow for many of my neighbors. I worked in many menial jobs, including at a sewer disposal plant, doing you-know-what. And I learned to appreciate and respect hard work. We played hard, and we were outside all the time. We didn't have organized teams or manicured playing fields. We either played on vacant fields, of which there were many, or on the street. But we were outside playing all the time, from morning to night, except when we were at school or at work. When any of the neighbors needed help, the whole neighborhood joined in to provide help. We knew all of our neighbors, and we got along together. We were a mixed breed. We were all basically immigrants. My grandparents came from Ireland and from Germany. Most of my friends were second-generation Polish or Italian, and most of them were bilingual. We also had friends who were black or Spanish. We all got along together, and there was very little discrimination. The Second World War, I'm sure, helped that attitude, since people of all colors and creeds fought together to save our country from Germany and totalitarianism. And as a result, we learned to respect each other regardless of our religion or skin color. I am a product of my generation, and most people of my age, and there aren't too many more left, are like me. We were taught to work together and to help each other, and we're told that we had to try to make the world a better place in which to live. Today, as I see it, we live in a world where people think first and foremost about themselves, about me, and not about us. We no longer have volunteers like we did in the past. I attribute my success to all the help that I have received from others. First and foremost, from my wonderful wife, Mary Lou. She keeps me in line and makes sure that I stay humble, or at least not obnoxiously proud. And she is always there to support me. She came to the big city in St. Paul, Minnesota, to Bound New Jersey in 1959, and took a job teaching math in the Bound school system because she wanted to see the Atlantic Ocean, and she intended to stay here for 1 year and then go to Japan and teach there for a year. However, I had a girlfriend who had graduated from Bound Brook High School with me and who was teaching at Bound Brook, and she introduced me to Mary Lou. I was pretty smart in those days, so on our first date, I took her to New York City to see the Metropolitan Opera House to see the opera, Tosca, and she was overly impressed. I liked opera, and I used to listen to the Met each Saturday on the radio, but I had never gone to New York to see an opera. All I can remember from that date was it was much better to listen to the opera on the radio than it was to see it in person. It was really ludicrous to see this huge soprano sitting on a small bench being hugged by a fat little tenor, and both of them nearly falling off the bench as they sang their famous duet in their opera. However, that worked, and the rest is history. If it were not for my wife, we probably wouldn't have a library in this town. When the idea of a library for Middlesex was first broached in the late 1950s, there was very little support for it. I was not in favor of having the town spend a lot of money to start a library when we had such a good library in Baltimore. When Mayor Walter Rafferty created a committee to study whether or not Middlesex needed its own library, he appointed my wife as one of the founding members of that committee. And that committee recommended that the town get its own library. That became a hot issue in Middlesex at that time. A group of residents formed what they called the Friends of the Taxpayers, and they fought tooth and nail against having a library established in Middlesex. My wife convinced me that I should support the library, and I joined with several other residents to try to convince the people in town that we should have our own library. Were it not for her prodding, I would not have done so, and I'm so glad that I did. She is also the reason that we have two really good picture history books of the Borough of Middlesex published by Arcadia Press. When that company approached the borough and asked if anyone would be willing to write a book about the history of the borough, my wife said that she would be, because no one else volunteered to do so. She was the one who organized the committee, who got the people in that committee to get pictures from the public, and who organized the captions for those pictures so that we now have two published picture histories of the borough. There is a famous saying that goes, every man has a better woman at his back, or something like that. Well, in my case, I've had several good women at my back. At home, I've had my wife, my daughter Jenny, my sister Karen. They've always been there to provide support and encouragement. At work, I've had the support of several women keeping me honest and working hard, starting with Barbara Benson, then Patricia Martin, now with Rosemary Fedak, and one who really makes me toe the mark is Susan DeCoste. I've had the good fortune to have worked for and with so many really wonderful people. Marty Matiskevich was my mentor. He taught me all about politics, and he was a great mayor. He was completely dedicated to his job and to the borough. Ronald Dobies was my hero. He was taught by Marty and followed in Marty's footsteps. He was unbelievable. He worked 40 hours per week at his job as a chemist, and he then worked 40 hours more as a mayor. John Furman was responsible for getting a senior citizen housing project in our town, in addition to giving his talents as mayor. There are many people, both male and female, who have given of their talents to help the borough, and I am glad to have been able to join their ranks. Today, more than ever, we need people to volunteer their services to help others. Too many people today think only of themselves. It's me first. We don't like other people. They're different from us. They're black or brown or yellow, or worse still, they're immigrants. We are all the same, whatever our color or creed or origin. We must learn to work together and to help each other. It's hard to love and it's easy to hate, but we must learn to love and to work together and to make this world a better place. There are many women in this town who will never be recognized for all the good work done by them, such as Anna Matiskevich, Kathy and Barbara Ferris, Blanche Dobies, Susan Edwards, Beverly Weber, Shirley Penrose, Emily DeSenza. These are just a few of the women who come to my mind. There are many more who I have not included, and I apologize to those that I have not included. I am a history buff, and I believe that history has many lessons to teach us if we wish to learn. But unfortunately, we never seem to learn. Civilizations have always been cyclical. Civilizations start at the bottom and slowly rise to the top. I think that America has done that. We reached our apogee in the 1950s when America was the arsenal of democracy, and we helped England defeat Nazi Germany and thereby save civilization. We were the city on the hill. Everyone in the world looked up to us. What has happened since then? When I was growing up, I could never understand how the German people allowed a person like Hitler to get control of the entire country. Unfortunately, now I know how that can happen. I see it right here in my own country. We are no longer looked upon as the leaders of civilization. We have ignored the environmentalists who have preached doomsday to us unless we alter our environmental practices. And look what has happened. We have tornadoes every day for months on end, not just one a day, but several every day. We must harken back to what we were in the past and halt this road to perdition. I apologize for sermonizing you on this occasion. My wife told me to shut up and just say thank you for the award that you have given me. However, I cannot in good conscience do so. I fear for the future unless we change our path and reach back and regain our past values. What is my advice to you? Number one, don't stop working. Work is what keeps people alive. You must have a purpose in life, and work gives you that purpose. Don't retire. Number two, if you are lucky enough to have money to take care of you and your family, use some of that money to help others. Or if you don't have extra money, give of your talents and help other people. When you help others, they in turn will help other people. It is much better to give than to receive. You get so much more when you give of yourself and help others. As the Christopher's motto goes, better to light one candle than to curse the darkness. I have tried to light that candle today rather than to curse the darkness that is enveloping our country. Thank you, and God bless this whole assembly. We'll go out there. Sure. Picture of the flag.
Well, it's a good thing you did that when you came off the cup.
I don't do those anymore.
All right, on three.
I can't remember that much anymore.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We're going to do the other one first. Okay. We're going to get back in gear here. The other appointment, please.
We have appointing Dan Cron as alternate 2 on the Environmental Commission.
Motion?
Second.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
All in favor?
Roll call.
Okay. Council President Conahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Quinn?
Yes.
And Councilman Rex?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. At this time, if anyone wants to leave, because they were here strictly for the Pillars of Middlesex, now's the time to do it. But if you guys are not ready to leave, we have an excellent presentation tonight. This is going to be given by Lenny Vidal. No pressure, Lenny.
That's going to be a tough act to follow. I think I'm going to have to reschedule. Thank you. And well-deserved, my friend. I know you were part of the screening. You, Nobi, and Betty Platinum, who hired me, so 25 years ago, so my hat goes off to you. All right, so we're here. We finally got to Heather Lane. I know we've been waiting a long time, approximately, I want to say 2 years, for the old mayor that's sitting in the front. We spent a lot of time and effort on this.
Former mayor, not just...
I'm sorry, former mayor. Sorry, mayor. You're always...
See, that wasn't me, John. I didn't have to tell you you were done and all that good stuff.
I mean, listen, I feel like we've been chasing our tail for so long here, and my heart really went out to these residents who were really getting no answer. I think Dave was present, Kevin was present to one of our meetings, several meetings with the Corps, if we were getting nowhere, right? And it just seemed no one was going to help us. We put in for the resilient grant. We had a lot of funding that we were trying to get from the state that the borough did not get. So we took it upon ourselves, thanks to your mayor and council for their support and allowing me and Tom Harris, our engineer, to kind of go to town on this thing. So let's begin. We'll do questions after as we go, if you'd like, but I got before and after, so this is the whole stage of everything from the beginning, right? So this is what we were up against at 5 and 6 Heather Lane. Total loss of property from 5 was approximately 20 feet. That was Roland's house over there, which was condemned. And this is what we had to work up against. Site preparation, Rothberg came in, helped us out with the excavator. We had to clean up the whole embankment from, obviously you can tell all the erosion that had caused, and it was progressing, right? So aside from the initial loss that we had, it just, that last storm in October, I think started taking Kemp's property. And it was just, the weather was not playing on our side. We were trying to get over there every chance we could. The site preparation mainly, obviously that involved bringing all the materials as well, because we didn't just wake up in the morning and say, all right, we're going to start. So we were all ready to go. We were just waiting for that open window. So this is us, boots on the ground. We had to clear out the whole embankment. We raised up about 2 feet of a ledge. We did about 1.5 inch stone. Those string lines there are obviously to make sure I'm staying along that ridge. And then we rip wrap the side of it, but you're going to see by these other slides. Here's another one where the excavator was just clearing out, and this is pretty much the process that took forever, right? So a total of 96 bin blocks used, 2 by 2 by 6. So the bin blocks are approximately 3,800 pounds. That's roughly 2 tons. It's very heavy. So these pieces are like Legos, right? So they intertwine together and they lock into place. It's just, we had to get the first layer level. If you didn't get the first layer level, then obviously the rest of the wall could actually collapse. So that's what really took a lot of our time. So we knew that going into it, it was going to take a couple days just to get that first layer. But we managed to get it over there. And the other issue we had was bringing that block to this location. So you have to remember, so I know there's a lot of material being used. We couldn't access Heather Lane at all. We couldn't bring anything from that side. And the closest staging area I had, thanks to Greenbrook, was the old nursery over on 22. You're looking at 200 yards away. So to bring each individual, we had to bring those in one by one just to get them back to the street. So it was a lot. It definitely took a lot of wear on us, especially getting all that material over. And these are just the placements on how we're placing them. You see the 2 by 2, the 4 by 4s or 6 by 6s on top. We use those to get everything level, to place it into the ground. We also created what was a diverter. So where you'll see the picture at the end. Not only did we do the wall, we put a diverter before it gets to the wall. So all that hydrostatic pressure that's coming from that water, from that stream, is going to hit this diverter first to kind of kick it back. So between Tom Harris, who could not be here, he did tell me he apologized. Tom was on site every day too as well. That was going to alleviate some of that pressure that was going to hit that wall and create this issue once again. And here is kind of the whole process here, right? You kind of got to, you can tell by that ladder in the back, that's an extension ladder, right? Look how high that is. We had that there because we were making an attempt to go up that way, but we all had waders and had to walk across the stream every single day. We couldn't climb up. So the area was backfilled with 3/4 clean stone. That's just clean stone. It's good for packing. The stone that was used as the base was 1.5 inch stone. That got us the level. And then the geogrid and the geotextile was installed in between each layer. So it's kind of what I told Folkevich. It's pretty much a big retaining wall that intertwines that geogrid into each layer of block and goes all the way up. Here is the same thing. The base was level, 1/2 inch, 1.5 inch. Placement of block bins begins. All blocks had to be leveled and plumbed. Riprap was placed in front of first layer. If none of you know what riprap is, it's just a big stone. So the whole front layer, if you look at it from the front, is covered in riprap. So that's also to help secure that bottom wall. And here is kind of your placement of your first row already. This is only half the property. The approximate linear foot was 300 linear feet total across wall that was done. And we were definitely looking to do the 3 layers up, right? But I managed to be able to go 4 on 5 Heather because his depth for his property was about 17, 18 feet high. And here's some more pictures of the excavator just handing it over. And us so we vibroplated every single layer. So as we did the backfill, we packed down every single layer. So every layer, that's how much fill is behind that whole wall. So it's not just dirt down there. Where you see the wall is backfilled with nothing but stone. Here's the guys working on the geogrid installation. This is the first level, obviously, going up, overlapping it from each other. And then once we had the geogrid after the first layer, the next layer came on top. And you can kind of see in the back end, the staging in the back, where I have some clean stone over there. So we were like a well-oiled machine over there. I had guys in the loader 200 yards away bringing up the blocks. I had guys bringing up material because we couldn't leave everything on site because if we did have a flood, we would have an issue with all our material out the window. So, yeah, it was a big group effort. Here's the geogrid installation once again. You kind of see more about how it goes up to his slope, right up to his foundation. That's our borough engineer all the way up top. And Chris, my assistant superintendent, he was the main guy all the way up top. There's the backfill again. This is the next layer as well. And this is the last layer of installation of the vegetation grid. So this was a problem. We had an irate resident, and she's going to be coming, I'm sure, to a council meeting. Lucy Goosey's up there. You see, we protected her with, there was a goose out there, all right? Yes, she made the cut. There was a goose out there laying on her egg. And listen, I love animals, and I didn't want to bother this goose, and so we set up the tires and gave her a little habitat, and she was okay. Right?
She came back every day.
I know the neighbors appreciated that.
She's not even in Middlesex.
I don't even think she's a Middlesex resident. She's definitely not paying taxes, but I had to make sure I set up Lucy Goosey over here. Which I hope she had her.
Yes, she did.
Good.
Yeah, for her.
5, right? I think I counted 5 in.
There were only 3.
Yeah, so that I had to show that because I know the mayor stopped down. This is kind of a side-by-side of, what we were dealing with. This is where my levels and all my string lines were going. That way we were straight. I had it work. I couldn't bend, initially me and Tom Harris were looking to do a full curve, but you can't do that with a block. Very little play. So we ended up approaching it as like 2 separate walls, but intertwined. We cemented the inside, the middle of them. So they are interlocked together with rebar. And here is kind of another picture of, you kind of can see the riprap on the outside of it now. That's all riprap, what you see in the front of that stream. While we were in there, we also scoured the stream. We also dug up some of it, removed any sandbars and any BS that was there. That it just hasn't been cleaned up by the state in forever, right? And that's the problem. Is nobody's doing anything. So There goes the riprap on the entire perimeter for the project. And this is the clean fill that was installed over the last layer of backfill. So the clean fill is just obviously just to get our land back. And then after that, we went with topsoil and seed and hay. So we also extended the drainage for your residents over there. Roland, I know you're out here. I attached your 2 gutters that were over there. I attached them to that big pipe that's going over. Perfect. I don't want any water getting behind this wall. Ken Beck, I did the same thing to your property. So no agua is going behind this wall because that's going to be a problem, right? So I know Chris was on top of that to make sure everything was pitched correctly. But yeah, this is your finished project right here. We gave him back about 20 feet. This was all gone up to his foundation. Both of them, I mean, where Ken Beck's, those are his shrubs right there on the right side, that was all gone. So none of this was there 2 years ago. And there's one more slide. Yeah, here's Ken Beck's property because I did a number to it. I'm sorry, not Ken Beck, Roland. Roland, thank you for letting me use your property for staging too as well. I hope I cleaned and power washed your boats and block. Al, sorry, I was in the machine. I may have knocked a couple things, but you guys were all very supportive over there. I gotta say, you guys were a blessing to deal with. I know I was there, at 7 in the morning every day, and we worked 15-hour days. So, yeah, I do appreciate all the support from that whole neighborhood over there. There's a drainage line coming out. And here is your project cost right now. So right now, this is your project cost. My man hours are not up there, right? My man hours are up there for how many total hours were used. We'll start with the top, the bin block, obviously. Site preparation took about 80 hours because there was an access over there from Parsa. We had to go in and trim some trees to be able to get our heavy equipment in there. Rothberg excavator, the tree contractor. Rothberg was very good at this. I mean, nothing beats a very good operator, which he definitely assisted. And the material staging, which was the stone, the riprap, that took a lot. People don't realize a job like this that I know everybody thinks, they couldn't believe we did it in 5 days. Every time the residents came home, they were like, oh my God, I can't believe how much you guys did. But it took 160 man hours to go get that material because I had 4 big dumps and I had to shoot them to the quarry, and it just took a lot of coordination between, Chris and myself to kind of get this whole thing together. Even the riprap, total used was 170 tons of riprap, 310 tons of 1.5-inch stone, and 460 tons of 3/4 clean. That is a lot of material. So, a lot. So listen, I'm not quoting myself on this, but that wall ain't going anywhere. So, listen, you're good. That geogrid textile berries, tools, and rebar, 3,500. Man hours during the project was 400 hours because we had 8 guys on staff there. And I was boots on the ground with them from 7 in the morning to 7, 8 o'clock at night. So total man hours for the entire project, start to finish, was 640 hours. So, and my last slide is special thanks, Tom Harris, Collier's engineer. It started out for me and him sitting here with you residents and doing up some sort of design on a napkin, I think it was. And then, me and him are going to be in Engineering Magazine because, I mean, he's just amazed at how much work was done. And I couldn't have done it without my guys. I mean, this was not, I don't want to take any credit for it. It's all my guys. I mean, Chris, every single DPW guy pulled their weight, whether it was the garbage truck driver finishing his route and me sending them to the quarry to get 4 stones, to the guys on the back that came and helped me out with the little things that needed because we couldn't get certain things there, So this was a group effort on behalf of my entire department. Chris and Glenn, Chris from L&L and Glenn from Rothberg. Glenn was my operator, best operator I've seen. And Michael LaPlace for all the support. I would check in on him. He knows I wasn't available for the week, and he has been nothing but fully supportive in anything I wanted to do with this project since he came into this, right? I mean, he came into this of us fighting a 2-year and irate residents. I think that was your first meeting of my business administrator, so cut him some slack. He's a good guy. I kind of like him. And Carolyn Benson, I got to thank her. That's my CFO. She made the numbers work. Listen, I kept tallies of all my estimates of all my billing, and the problem with the billing and even getting this material is they don't put anything about these quarries on the ticket. So I don't get the bill until it comes a month later. So Carolyn made it work, appropriated what we needed, and obviously, last but not least, the mayor and council for full support, because I know this has been a long time coming, and I appreciate just letting me go at this. I appreciate also Mr. Decino, Councilman Decino, a long time veteran of the DPW. He was boots on the ground, so I got to give him that. He jumped down there with me to assist. He wasn't really doing much like he was maybe. A lot of things. Bobby, thank you so much. But other than that, thank you so much. Thank you to the residents of Heather Lane and everybody for all the love and support.
Thank you.
And
Hey, Lenny, stay up. We got a little something here for you.
Just a little citation, fellas.
citation.
Citation.
On behalf of the governing body of Middlesex Borough, I'm delighted to extend my sincere congratulations and appreciation to the Middlesex Borough Department of Public Works. Your extraordinary hard work and creativity in developing, planning, coordinating, and creating a structure to stave off further erosion of the lane. Their good is recognized and appreciated. Thanks, Bob.
Michael.
Watch TV.
Come on, guys. All you DPW guys, anyone's here, get up there.
I citation, and I think the chief is going to give me something.
Yeah, that's called a ticket.
This is great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, guys, before you go away, does anyone have any questions for Lenny while he's here?
Comments.
Or comments? We'll take comments.
I just want to say thank you, reiterate, I live over on Everlane, I wasn't a direct line of sight to the river. Let me tell you what, I'm going to reiterate, everything that I have said is exactly right. They worked their asses off. Every time they came down there, they kept it clean, they kept it organized, and at the end of the day, they cared. Just like everybody else, just like you gave Mr. Johnson his award about care and giving it back. That's what this means to the Everlane residents. It really does, because nobody listens. Keep on that Army Corps, because they're the ones that are responsible for it.
They're not off the hook
But
yet.
at the end of the day, Lenny and his team did an outstanding job. Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Roll? I'll wait.
Also, exceeded our expectations. The guys worked really hard. They did a fabulous job. Thank you very, very
Here
much. Thank
Well,
you.
my name is Orlando Bonnie. I have lived in Middlesex Borough for 1998. Okay, I got transferred to California. This is what I call a blessing in disguise. Something I never expected. And I am overwhelmed and I'm blessed to have known the ex-mayor, meaning some of the other people around. You have really expressed that love for me and my family. There's so much I can say. I'm overwhelmed. I appreciate all your support. You have made the house bigger. The ground is now bigger, which is going to translate into higher taxes. But really, it's a privilege.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right.
I just want to say the picture's great. You know, we're in a cold
project goes up, boom, it's over. I want to acknowledge the fact that this was inherently dangerous work. It may sound dramatic, but these guys really did put themselves and put their lives at risk. Unfortunately, there was an accident in South Kenilworth not long ago. A contractor, I believe, might be working on a town project, and it was buried alive in a hole just that quick. He didn't go home. And every day these guys showed up, did the work they did, it was a day that potentially someone could have gotten seriously hurt or overhurt. So I think that needs to be taken into account as well. It's just beyond themselves to do what had to be done with getting all the materials and pools and so forth. They put their lives on the line, and they got in there and did the work.
Thank you. You know what, we do appreciate that, because believe me, I went down there a few times, and I was able to say, this is definitely outside of their wheelhouse. They put a lot of time and effort into doing it right. Lenny, as much as he was trying to figure it out how to get it done, he was, him and Chris, you guys were training as you went, the other guys, because, we try and do the right thing. That's what we're trying to accomplish, but number one for us was we don't want anyone to get hurt, because, 100 attaboys and one of those, it's not worth it, and that's one of the reasons the citation's there. It was something outside of the ordinary. They did a fabulous job, I think, and, one of the things that is coming up is that we did have a meeting subsequent to that when we found out that we weren't getting $5 million. As a matter of fact, we didn't get $5. And I had a meeting with Michelle Massacutis and Brian Lee, and Michael was there, and actually Bobby was there, and it was at a Republican fundraiser. But we basically let them know we're not happy, and this is not over. So they're planning on they're trying to coordinate a meeting with us, because it's one thing to do to go above and beyond, but this really fell on the way I see it is on the backs of the taxpayers, and it's the right thing to do, definitely. And when people aren't ready to help you, we're Middlesex, we're going to help ourselves, and now we're going to go back after them and say, hey, listen, you guys did nothing for us, nothing, zero. And I'm a little upset about that, to be quite honest. You asked for $5 million, you didn't give us $5. You couldn't even, you didn't even pay us for the material that we went. We went ahead and did it because everyone's like, oh, you shouldn't do it. Don't do this. You're going to start a whole big problem. What are we going to do? Let people's houses fall in? That's not what we're made of here. We're here to try and do the right thing. And that was the right thing to do, period. Mayor Emeritus?
I got to tell you, I've been there almost every day, a couple times a day, throughout this entire project. I was just amazed. It looks like it's such a professional job, over and above your workstation. I mean, who expected that 2 years ago? But I got to tell you, I am really upset that all these government officials that I tried to get over there personally, and everybody else, between the governor's office, several senators, DEP, oh yeah, we'll help. Well, where the hell are they? Where were they? So kudos to you and the DPW. Thank you.
Mayor, if I may, my firm's in towns all over central Jersey. Lenny, I've never seen a project like this done in-house, like this. If you bid this, it would have been 10 times more expensive.
Yes, actually, I wanted to add to
Sorry, you're tied.
Take my contract up. Just so you know, for the residents, this is just, food for thought. I know they have gotten quotes to get that fixed, and you're looking at $275,000 per resident. So you're talking a little over $500,000 to do it with it.
That would have been my guess, Lenny, huh?
That's how much money you save.
I know I was there one day with Lenny and the guys, and was it Quarborough, however you pronounce their name?
Scarborough.
Quarborough was there, and their main guys, like, wow, you guys did a fantastic job. Now, they're doing multi-million-dollar projects, and he was impressed by the job, so.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this, just so you know, just so your residents also here in council knows, is, me and Chris have 25 years experience, right? I started here at 18, Chris too as well. So we did a lot of stuff that we don't do now, but Carrborough did help me with certain things to where what I should be doing and like tricks of the trade, right? And we wouldn't have been able to do it without Tom Harris and a lot of these options that we have to be able to do it. So they were very impressed as well. So thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad you put the research in, because
We did.
now that we have your guarantee that it's going to last longer than we are, that's a good thing.
It's going nowhere.
All right, very good. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, Kevin, thank you for noting that there was a danger consideration in this, and it shows you how incredibly dedicated our municipal employees are, that they were putting the importance of doing something like this for the public ahead of their own safety. Although we were taking safety very seriously, I'm really glad you raised that. I want to say two things that have impressed me so much since I've been here. When I got here, this was under discussion, and we were all very concerned about it. And never once did I hear from anyone in Middlesex, and certainly from the mayor and council, this isn't our problem, we don't care. It was always, we've got to make this work, we've got to, protect one of our own in our community. And you contrast that with the total, disappointing amount of support from other levels of government. It just shows you the value and the importance of local government. And I think what you have here in terms of departments like Public Works and other departments here and all the department heads, incredible talent, but also a desire to do good and to serve. I'm just so proud of them. I was thinking here, we're watching this amazing feat of engineering and design and putting this into place, and I thought, it was something the Army Corps wouldn't do for us. We asked them to do it. It's something the Army Corps probably couldn't do. And it shows you what can be done at the grassroots in the community. So I couldn't be more proud of the team we have here, and of the mayor and council, former and current, that had the leadership and the willingness to take on this responsibility.
Thank you. Anybody else? Guys, Sheila?
I just would like to say thank you to the guys. But this is just not a one-off. They are like that all the time. I know from working here that there wasn't one time that I called the DPW and I couldn't get somebody to drive them up or pick up somebody or do anything they could do to make my job a little easier, everybody else's job a little easier. These guys own this town. They love it. When Ed Johnson was talking, he was talking about the ethics and helping and working hard for the community. And if you haven't got money, you've got talent, give it. And I thank God for them. I remember Lenny, when we first started working in this role, hot kid. And to watch him grow and to see what came up and all the other fellows. During the floods, we are always the first town to leave. You drive out that way, that's the town. Drive out that way, that's the town. We are always cleaned up as quickly as possible. You know Bobby, right?
Yeah.
And we have them to thank. And you see them in the mornings at 30, 7 o'clock, picking up your garbage. Say thank you. And you see plowing the street. Say thank you, offer them a cold drink, offer them a cup of coffee or something. They keep us moving. They're the guys that do the job.
All right, last call. Anybody else? At this point, we're all good? Okay. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break because we're going to get on with the rest of the proclamations and everything else when we come back, and we'll take us all the way through. So 5 minutes, guys. Lenny, have a good night. Thanks again. It's time for some proclamation. I got to get to one that I have to read with the big words that I don't know. All right. We have a few proclamations coming right now. I'm going to take the shortcut version that Conahan told me. ALS Awareness Month, 2024. Whereas ALS, known by many as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive fatal neurodegenerative disease in which a person's brain loses connection with the muscles, slowly taking away their ability to walk, talk, eat, and eventually breathe. And whereas every 90 minutes someone is diagnosed with ALS and someone passes away from ALS. And whereas on average patients diagnosed with ALS only survive 2 to 5 years from the time of diagnosis. And whereas ALS has no cure, and whereas people who have served in the military are more likely to develop ALS and die from the disease than those with no history of military service. And whereas securing access to new therapies, durable medical equipment, and communication technologies is of vital importance to people living with ALS. And whereas clinical trials play a pivotal role in evaluating new treatments, enhancing quality of life, and fostering assistive technologies for those living with ALS. And whereas we celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Ice Bucket Challenge through a renewed commitment to galvanize public awareness and support funding leading to significant investments in ALS research. And whereas the ALS Association, as the largest philanthropic funder of ALS research globally, has committed over $154 million to support more than 550 projects across the United States and 18 other countries. And whereas our commitment to accelerating the pace of discovery remains unwavering, fueled by the hope that one day ALS will be a livable disease for everyone, everywhere, until we can cure it. And whereas ALS Awareness Month increases the public awareness of people with ALS, dire circumstances, and acknowledges the terrible impact this disease has, not only on the person, but on his or her family and the community, and recognizes the research being done to eradicate this disease. Now therefore, I, Jack Mikulajczyk, Mayor of the Borough of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, along with the Middlesex Borough Council, on behalf of the residents of Middlesex, do hereby proclaim the month of May as ALS Awareness Month. I call upon all Americans to join in supporting ALS research, advocating for increased funding, and standing in solidarity with those affected by this relentless disease. In witness thereof, I set my hand and seal of the Borough of Middlesex to affix this 28th day of May 2024. Okay, that's that one. Military Appreciation Month.
Military Appreciation Month. Whereas in 1999, Senator John McCain introduced legislation designed to designate the month of May as National Military Appreciation Month, and both the Senate and the House of Representatives adopted resolutions calling for Americans to recognize and honor U.S. service members during National Military Appreciation Month. And whereas National Military Appreciation Month is celebrated every May and is a declaration that encourages U.S. citizens to observe the month as a symbol of unity. And whereas these service members are true leaders in our community whom impart courage, honor, valor, and dignity to their fellow Americans. And whereas during Military Appreciation Month, we are reminded of the essential role that the United States Armed Forces has played in the history and development of nations and the world. And whereas the month of May is characterized by 6 national observances, which highlight the contributions of those who have served. Loyalty Day on May 1st, Public Service Recognition Week, May 5th to the 11th, Victory Day in Europe, aka VE Day, on May 8th, Military Spouse Appreciation Day on May 10th, and Armed Forces Day on May 18th, and Memorial Day on May 27th. And whereas the Borough of Middlesex deems it our responsibility this month to, and throughout the year, to honor, support, and recognize our service members and veterans, and to remember with deep gratitude those that have given their lives in defense of our freedom. And therefore now, I, Jack Mikulajczyk, Mayor of the Borough of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, along with the Middlesex Borough Council, and on behalf of the residents of Middlesex, do hereby proclaim the month of May as National Military Appreciation Month. In the Borough of Middlesex, and encourage all citizens to recognize the service of all current and former military personnel and take part in all national observances.
All right, thank you. Last but not least, Bobby.
Proclamation of National Public Works Week. Whereas the public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Middlesex Borough. And whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services cannot be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals, who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our national transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest of of citizens, civic leaders, and children of the Borough of Middlesex to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association and Canadian Public Works Association. Now, therefore, I, Jack Mikolajczyk, Mayor of the Borough of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, along with the Middlesex Borough Council, and on behalf of the residents of Middlesex, do hereby designate the week May 19th through 1924 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advancing quality of life for all.
Thank you. All right, tonight we have no ordinances for introduction. We do have some for public hearing and final adoption.
We have ordinance number 2119-24, an ordinance vacating a portion of Factory Lane.
I'd like a motion to open the public. Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, anyone wishing to step forward, state your name and address. Seeing no one come forward, I'd like a motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'd like a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay. Roll.
Okay, Council President Conhan?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Quinn?
Yes.
And Councilman Rex.
Yes.
Okay, moving on.
We have ordinance number 2121-24, an ordinance amending Chapter 367, Swimming Pool Municipal of the Municipal Code of the Borough of Middlesex to clarify certain provisions thereof.
A motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Anyone stepping forward? Okay, no one stepping forward. Motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay.
Council President Conhan?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Quinn?
Yes.
And Councilman Rex.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Next one.
We have ordinance number 2122-24, an ordinance to amend the Code of the Borough of Middlesex to Chapter 332 Sewers, Section 332-43C, Sewer Use Charges Rates.
I'd like a motion to open the, okay, public
Second.
portion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I was waiting.
John Madden, 39 Ramsey Road, Middlesex. As promised in the last meeting, I was going to find out exactly about the sewer rates and how they were related. And after 3 or 4 conversations with a spokesperson from MCUA and with Tom Harris, I finally got what I think we all need to know, in Ordinance 2122-254. The relationship of flow rates and quantities used for billing under subsection 332-43C are based on daily flow of effluent tonnage and billed per quarter. So we get a bill every quarter. Chemical rates, I'm sorry for the minutiae here, but I think it's important. Chemical rates needed to offset natural bioremediation, such as BODs, which is biochemical oxygen demand, TSS, which is total suspended solids, and chlorine, are determined over a 5-year estimate by MCUA. Other factors that are linked to overall billing include additional expenses from MCUA, such as their operation, maintenance, infrastructure improvements, any debt service charges, overhead, and other sewer-related costs. These costs are apportioned to each participant. If I remember, I think there are 5 towns in the MCUA operation. Therefore, total flow times the current milligrams per liter, mg/L, for BODs, TSS, chlorine of anticipated usage for the following year is converted to tonnage of effluent for billing purposes to Middlesex Borough. As a general guideline, and here's the important takeaway, the MCUA expects an annual price increase of between 2.5% to 3% for rates based on estimates every year, so that's putting it into wonderful perspective. Lastly, it's interesting to note that when I took office in 2020, it was my understanding that MCUA had discounted the prior 3 years of unpaid sewer fees from my predecessor down to $100,000 a year if the borough would pay the $300,000 quickly. Unfortunately, that became my problem, but we handled it expeditiously. Thank you. And my only recommendation is I would like to see another I&I report because as many residents, if we can discharge our dehumidifiers into the street, not going to the sanitary source, because that's what jacks up the prices. You know, sump pumps going into the drains for the sanitary, that's what the cost increases are. So if we could be diligent enough and spread the word to discharge it properly, I think we could save a lot of money. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Anyone else? Okay, motion to close? Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Council President Conahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Quinn?
Yes.
Councilman Rex?
Yes.
Okay, last one.
We have ordinance number 2123-24, an ordinance amending Chapter 320 of the Municipal Code titled Registration Landlord.
Motion to open?
Motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, anyone wishing to step up? Seeing no one stepping forward, I'd like a motion to close.
Motion to close?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Council President Conahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Quinn?
Motion, did I make the motion to approve? You do?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, Council President Conahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Quinn?
Yes.
And Councilman Rex?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. No? Okay. No, just this ordinance is going to have a slight amendment coming up. We're just changing a couple of dates to make it more in sync with the year that we're trying to build the rates in. So we don't have any duplicitous, that was a John word, duplicitous charges in 2024 when they should be in 2025. Okay, adoption of minutes, please.
We have approval of the April 23rd, 2024 regular and executive meeting minutes.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And then I have approval of the May 14th, 2024 regular and executive meeting minutes.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next up on the list is the mayor's report. We've had a few things going on, but fortunately my report for you guys is going to be relatively short. Let's just talk about Memorial Day yesterday. I would like to, it was a little disappointing. The weather did not cooperate with us, especially the weather reports that were coming. We went anywhere from sunshine and blue skies to 1-inch hail, and it did make it a little bit difficult to make a decision. We did have other towns that did the same thing. One of the things I would like to just throw out there is that perhaps going forward, we should consider doing this celebration on the Sunday with Monday as a potential rain date going forward. I don't know if that's something that's workable, but I think some towns do that. It's something that we may want to consider. I do think that the American Legion did a wonderful job yesterday on short notice. They did have the hot dogs and the soda and all that good stuff, and it was a very nice ceremony. But I do think that because it was abbreviated, that there were a lot of residents that didn't show up to something that I think is a very somber event, and that we can't emphasize enough how thankful we are for these people who made the supreme sacrifice so that we could have the freedoms that we have. So you would never want to shortcut that. Also, just a couple of things that are coming up. Within the next couple of meetings, we're going to have a redo of the trash can ordinance. That needs a little bit of work. We just want to be a little bit more consistent in terms of what we wrote that we're going to do versus what we really do. So it's nothing major for everybody, but I think we're just going to make sure that the ordinance fits what we are actually doing in practice. We are still going to have a tree ordinance that we talked about in a workshop. We're probably going to have another workshop on this before it actually becomes an ordinance, because we're still gathering information. Thank you, Claire. Of what's reasonable, practical, and what the true intent of the ordinance is, so that we can do it correctly. The only other thing I wanted to do, because I missed you when you came in, Claire, is I wanted to ask, how's the tree farm going?
It's going pretty good. We've had some losses due to, some of the white pines died, some of my replanted things that I grew, and the squirrels had fun with them, so.
So we're coming along.
So far, things are good.
That's all right. First year, right? We're doing well. And thank you for your efforts there. That's all I have. So next up, Council President Conahan.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations again to Ed Johnson. I know he left. He's our third pillar. I thanked Lenny earlier. I wanted to just put it on the record and thank him and Chris and the entire team. I thought the work that they did was, just exceeded all expectations. We've all seen like retaining walls like that on 287 and the Turnpike, and the 287 and the Turnpike, even 78 Route 80, and ours looks just as good, if not better. So they did it in a week. They saved a lot of homes. It's been in the works for a while, so his presentation was fabulous. Our next department presentation will be at the June 25th council meeting, almost a month from now, by the fire department. The history room is coming along nicely at the library. Our DPW are everywhere. They're helping transform that room as well. So the legacy lawn at the library looks really, really great. Thank you to all who coordinated and helped attend the Memorial Day ceremony yesterday, like the mayor said. Especially our borough organizations that participated. A special thank you to the rec department and our American Legion post. They put a lot into it. Community Day is a week and a half away. June 8th, 2 to 7 p.m. in Mountain View Park. It's rain or shine, free for all. Our police department hosted 2 community events over the last 2 weeks. They did the Coffee with a Cop. They did Pops with a Cop. Pops with Cops. That was a newer one. Both events were extremely well attended. Actually, they were really more jam-packed. Especially Coffee with a Cop was really, really well attended. With our residents, a special thank you to Sergeant Jolene Arricchio. She coordinated both events, and I look forward to National Night Out. First week in August. I know Jolene will also coordinate that. Let's see, I wanted to congratulate and welcome 2 new firefighters. We don't get to say that often enough. Anthony Cardinal and Sean Dowling. They're both joining Parker Firehouse. I think the training's in like September. All of our schools will be busy on June the 20th, hosting 3rd grade ceremonies. When they leave the elementary school, we have 8th grade graduation on the 20th, and we also have high school graduation on the 20th. So it's sprinkled in throughout the entire day. And then filling in for Kevin tonight, he wanted me to provide a quick summary of our municipal court report. I'm going to go through that quickly, and that's it. So this is for the month of April. Total tickets issued, 566. It's a 25% increase from the month prior, which is March. 49 parking violations, 507 moving violations, 10 DWIs. Total criminal complaints, 13. Those are warrants and summonses. 7 local ordinance violations and 6 rezoning. Total assessed fines and costs were almost $40,000. And the borough is to receive almost $22,000 of that. And there are no other news or updates with the court at this time, and that's it, Mayor.
Okay. Councilman Carnes is not here. Councilman Decino.
Just touch base on Public Works again. I want to thank Lenny because we've had some talks about this. I was on the job with those guys. They did a fabulous job, as you all saw, and heard them talk about. Nothing bad to say. It was wonderful. I mean, we didn't do that. I was there 36 years. We didn't do work like that. So I commend him for that. And also Memorial Day, Jack, I was there, yes, with you, and it's a great job, the Legion. So,
I have to commend them. They had their short list, and everything was clean as a whistle.
yeah, that's all that matters. It's the Public Works who's demanding.
Sure. You did Councilman Doty's report. Councilman Quinn.
Okay, so I have nothing other than to say we've got to still go after the Army Corps for Heather Lane.
Absolutely. That meeting is going to, we're not letting them off the hook, and we went after them that night. They've been going back and forth. They're trying to coordinate a date, and
To quote Kevin, how can natural flow would be out of the scope of the work? But when you put these pumps in and turn them on, that's no longer natural flow.
right.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you know, and to go off of, you know, we did our initial report. Well, when was that done? 1984 or 1983? Nothing changed in 40 years. Come on.
Nothing changed until they turned the pumps on.
Yeah, exactly. You know. All right, Councilman Rex.
No, I don't, Mayor. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I was very pleased to attend the Memorial Day celebration here at the Municipal Center and the American Legion yesterday. Despite the weather and a change of plans, it was a moving and enjoyable event. Sincere thanks to everyone who planned and participated in the day's events. We have received 19 responses, so that was as of last week, so we may have more than 19, to the request for proposal, the RFP for the Victor Crowell Park and Annex Master Plan. That is a tremendous show of interest from professional planning, landscape, and engineering firms, so I'm really excited about that. We all should be. The second surplus municipal property for sale will be Lot 306, Lot 17, which is a parcel of land on the northwesterly corner of West Pershing and Madison Avenues. Before we proceed with the sale, the borough will be rezoning the site. Currently it's zoned municipal, which means only we can do something with it. And we'll be changing it to R50, one-family residential, which is the zoning in that neighborhood. Council resolutions on the agenda this evening include authorization for ABB Inc. to provide payroll services to the borough for 2024 through 2027, approval to award the bid for tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding to Predator Tree Service, and authorization to execute the joint defense and common interest agreement on behalf of current and former members of the Middlesex County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. Regarding the Boundbrook Road Route 28 Streetscape Beautification Project, we now have 28 beautiful new street lights that have been installed, and Public Service Electric and Gas is now working on the wiring to the new lighting fixtures. There will be no agenda workshop session this evening, and I believe, Mayor, there won't be an executive.
There will not be an executive session tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? You good?
Thank you.
All right, privilege of the floor. Please step up, state your name and address.
John Madden, 39 Brimson Road. A couple things. Number one, Councilman Quinn brought up a wonderful point. When those pumps are on, you're looking at 100,000 gallons a minute. Ecologically, how can that velocity not change the landscape?
How can that be outside of the
Right,
scope?
so thank you for bringing that up. The Legacy Lawn, gorgeous, beautiful, and I'm trying to get my family stuff in there to do it for next year, but the ever-expanding hallowed ground looks marvelous. So thank you to Chris George and the staff and volunteers. The other thing, last thing I want to say about Eddie Johnson. As a public servant, Eddie Johnson espoused a great example of honesty, integrity, and goodwill. These pursuits were part of his character, and for many decades, his prowess and adroitness in handling borough affairs was quite exemplary as a borough attorney. Congratulations, Eddie, for a well-deserved honor. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Mr. Polakevich, nothing tonight?
Can't follow Ed Johnson.
All right, anybody at this point? Okay, motion to close?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Linda, take a deep breath.
Okay, we have Resolution 156, 2024, acceptance of standing reports. Resolution 157, 2024, approving a block party to the residents of 300 Green Avenue on June 8, 2024. Resolution 158, 2024, reimbursement of dog license fees in the amount of $40 for Susan Cardis due to insufficient rabies vaccinations. Resolution 159, 2024, approval of the amusement machine licenses for 2024-2025 for the Borough of Middlesex. Resolution 160, 2024, authorizing the tax collector to issue tax title lien redemptions for blocks 303, lot 9. Resolution 161, 2024, authorizing ADP Inc. to provide payroll services for 2024 through 2027. Resolution 162, 2024, salaries and compensation for certain officers and employees of the Borough of Middlesex for 2024. Resolution 163, 2024, as a recommendation of the purchasing agent awarding the bid for tree removal, tree trimming, and stump grinding to Predator Tree Service. Resolution 164, 2024, authorizing the execution of the Joint Defense Common Interest Agreement on behalf of current and former members of the Middlesex County Joint Insurance Fund.
Okay, does anyone want to pull any of these?
163.
163?
Just to abstain.
Okay, that's fine. All right, could I have a motion approving all the other ones with the exception of 163?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
No.
Call the roll, please.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Quinn?
Yes.
And Councilman Rex?
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask.
Three's enough.
Three's enough? Okay, all right.
Majority voting.
All right.
Majority president voting.
That's fine. All right, could I have a motion to approve Resolution 163?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All right, let's have roll call, please.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Abstain.
Councilman Quinn?
Yes.
And Councilman Rex?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right, non-consent agenda resolutions?
We have Resolution 165, 2024, payroll claims.
Okay, could I have a motion?
Second.
Second? Okay, any discussion, questions? All right, call the roll, please.
Council President Carnahan?
Yes.
Councilman DeCino?
Yes.
Councilman Quinn?
Yes.
And Councilman Rex?
Yes.
All right, very good. We have no executive session tonight because there's been no updates on the items that are on there. So we're up to motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, the next meeting is June 11th, 2024.